Hey YouTube, this is Kevin Bowen of Bowen Small Engine, and currently on the table you guys are seeing my valve seat grinding equipment. Obviously you can see there is a substantial amount of equipment here. Valve seat grinding is kind of a lost art. People don't really do that much of it anymore. At least say in the last 20 years. Reason being is the new wave valve seat cutters basically took the place of the valve seat grinding equipment. Now it can still be had, okay? Goodson is one company that you can still purchase the stones from, various equipment, okay, for valve grinding as well. So just to let you guys know, there are sources for these older valve grinding equipment, okay, shall we say. Note that in this red top portion of a toolbox here, you can see that I have a large assortment of stones, some of which are name brand, others on the other hand are from India. Now with that being said, I have no issue with the stones that you would potentially purchase from India. They actually work very well. Now with that being said though, they're not to the quality that the Sioux brand that you would potentially purchase would be. Howsoever, you're given $6 for a stone that comes from India, and you're given upwards of $20 to $25 for the name brand Sioux, and they essentially do the exact same thing, okay, depending on what stone is purchased. I want to note, guys, that the driver in this box is an actual name brand Sioux, and it works exceptionally well. It's not worn out at all. It's seen its share of abuse, don't get me wrong, but it works exceptionally well. There's no issues with it. But the stones that come from India, when they came, I had to retrue them. I actually had to buy a tap and die set in order to clean the inserts, because they're kind of a steel material. I had to clean them free of the glue that they use to adhere the stones to the inserts. And that was a pain in the ass. I think that they were 11/16 by 16 if I remember. I'll check for you guys. Yeah, that's what they were. 11/16 by 16. I bought both a 11/16 by 16 tap and die set. The reason being is because not only did I purchase the stones, I also purchased a driver from India as well. And I have to admit, the quality of the driver, exceptionally good. No issues whatsoever. Howsoever, the threads, okay? I don't know who's doing their quality control, but it absolutely sucks over there. I actually had to buy a die to clean the threads up so that I could essentially use the stones that came in this kit with that driver. And that kind of pissed me off, I'll be honest with you, okay? But now that being said, still, it's cheaper than potentially going and buying all the stones from Sioux. So, just letting you guys know, you can purchase these stones overseas and they will work, but be prepared that you're going to have to true the stones, and you may potentially have to buy a tap and die to chase the threads to get the glue out of them, as well as clean the threads up on the drivers if you choose to get cases like I did. I do want to note that I did purchase a few pilots from India as well. I have no complaints with the pilots whatsoever. They are as equally good as the Sioux is in every way. Okay, there is no issues with those pilots whatsoever. they serve their purpose very well. Now, with that being said, naturally, the Sioux is of better quality. Okay, so I'll note that. This is very, very handy if you have a job where you're going to be potentially using a piece of equipment like this. Obviously, you can see that I have a pilot already set aside so I can show you guys how this tool actually works. This tool is used to press in the pilot as well as retrieve the pilot. So I really like this tool. This pilot, of course, is a 1/4 inch pilot. Now note, guys, I did not use this valve seat grinder on the 3.5 horsepower that you guys saw about 2 weeks ago that I repaired. I actually used the New Way valve seat cutter, which I shown in the prior video right here. And of course it too has its pilots, the driver, and of course the cutters. I actually have 2 of these guys. These are lapping sticks. Now, I have amassed many lapping sticks over the years. There has been a lot of trial and error, guys, for me to acquire the knowledge that I have. And I am not too proud to admit that over the years, like so many of you guys, I have been fooled into thinking that you could take lapping compound and lapping sticks and you could essentially, okay, redress your valves to where they will potentially work. More often than not, guys, I have to admit, it was a flop. It was a failure. Simply because the valve seats would be distorted, as well as the valve margin and face, and no amount of lapping that you do is going to correct that. You actually have to grind the valve and grind the seats to achieve true concentricity, okay, of the valve in relation to the seat. It took me years to figure that out. Okay, so hopefully you guys will take my advice when I tell you, don't be fooled. Don't think that you're just going to go out there, purchase these sticks, okay, these lapping sticks, and the compound, and that you're going to achieve, okay, the desired effect on a Briggs engine, Kohler, Kawasaki, whatnot, what have you, unless you properly grind the valves and grind the seats, or cut the valves and cut the seats, depending on what way you want to go. Okay, I'll tell you personally, I prefer to use the valve seat cutters, okay, for the seats, and just grind my valves. But I will also tell you that they do make a cutter for the valves. New Way does. So you can go either way. It really is just a matter of your preference. I also want to note that although you're seeing all these sticks before you, the one I actually prefer, even though it failed in the 3.5 horsepower video, is this vacuum stick. I really like the vacuum stick. It does an exceptionally good job. Howsoever, you want to make sure you have the right rubber stoppers, okay? And I'm sorry guys, rednecks call these stoppers. I don't know technically what they're called, okay? Suction cups, I guess. Hell, I don't know. But we call them stoppers. And depending on what size you get, it will be more productive, shall we say, towards the end goal of lapping the valves. Alright. I noted in the 3.5 horsepower video that I have several lapping compounds that I use. I do like the silicon carbide better than your typical valve grinding compounds that you can buy. Let's say at like Walmart, places like that. Okay. I am a big fan of clover. I think clover makes, in my opinion, some of the best lapping compound you can purchase. If you note, this is a fine val lapping compound. And I was bashing Walmart a while ago, and I probably shouldn't, because technically you can get this at Walmart. I think this is 280 grit. I also have a 400, a 600, and an 800. This is the 400. 1,000. I said 800, but I think this is 1,000 and this is 600 that I potentially use as well. And of course, these are just various little paintbrushes that I've used to apply the lapping compound. I had shown in the other video what these tools actually do. This tool is used on the valve grinder that I have, and I actually have a Black & Decker Super Service valve grinder, or refacer shall we say, that's 11/16. I had a viewer that was very adamant about telling me that my valve grinder would not, or shouldn't, shall we say, grind a 1/4 inch valve. And I was trying to explain to him that yes, indeed it would, so long as you have the proper adapter. Okay, and I did have that adapter, but people, they tend to favor their idealisms rather than facts. So hopefully that individual that left that comment and then retracted it will see the video and see that what I was advocating was true. That yes, I do grind my own valves, yes, I do grind my own seats, as well as cut my own seats from time to time with the equipment that you see before you. I also want to note that I haven't shown this yet, but I also have the dressing stand, okay, for the stones. And I'm going to go ahead and lift that up and just kind of put it in the camera's view. I had to remove it in order to actually utilize my table, so that's the reason that it's not currently sitting right here. This is a 17/16. It's a name brand by Sioux. As you guys can hopefully see, these are extremely expensive. This alone is pushing around $600, guys. So as you can imagine, I tend to take pretty good care of this. I do have the diamonds that are used on this stand, okay? Or this dresser, if you will. And of course I will be mounting it back to the table after this video. I also have another stand. I'm going to potentially lift the camera up and move this chair back out of my way first, guys. And I'm going to show you essentially how this stand works, because my cousin and I made this to help aid me in working on these valves, heads, whatnot, and what have you. It's just a homemade little contraption that we made. As you guys can see, this came off of a handle from something, okay, that we used. And obviously you can see that if I had problems with removing the valve spring keepers, this potentially will do that. All I do is apply this. Hopefully I can move the camera down so you guys can see this. To the bottom, there's a cutaway in it, and I can basically retrieve the keepers once I screw this down, and it compresses the spring. self-explanatory pretty much. This is also the the diamond that I was talking about having for that that dresser earlier. So as you guys can see, I have a lot of tools at my disposal. I don't always show these tools though, and that can be very problematic to my viewers because they may potentially want to know what I'm using, and I have come to realize that. Alright, so hopefully this gives you guys a little insight upon what you would potentially need if you were going to be doing this type of work professionally. I really hope that I can keep a lot of these negative comments away. It's not really so much that they annoy me, it's just to be honest. Over time, if you do this enough, you get kind of tired of defending what you're potentially trying to say, okay? And there are a lot of people out there that are bound, damned, and determined, okay, to try to expose you in a negative light, alright? Everything that I tell my viewers is true. I do not try to embellish anything at all. If I know that I've told you something that isn't so, I'm going to own up to it, and I want my viewers to know that. There are a lot of YouTubers out there that will just hide in the shadows. They'll pretend that they are incapable, okay, of making a mistake. I'm not too proud, guys. I'll tell you straight up, yes, I have made mistakes in my past, absolutely. That's how you learn, alright? It's common sense. But now with that being said, my experience, where I have done this for years, has allowed me to amass typically more knowledge than what I'm accredited, okay, from time to time. And I hope that you guys can understand that. I'm not telling you that I know it all. That's complete bullshit, okay? But I can assure you that I know a hell of a lot more than your just average Joe out here, okay? In regards to these engines. I have practically been working on them since I was 7 years old, guys. So bear that in mind the next time that you feel compelled to say that I am lying or trying to manipulate my viewers, that I am not. Anything that you feel that you want to touch base on, that if you feel like I'm lying to you or I am sending a mixed signal upon, let me know, okay? I'll try to get back to you. I will try to show you definitively what I'm trying to advocate to be the truth. And if it isn't the truth, I'll own up to it, okay? The reason that I'm saying this is I've also had comments, numerous comments, about the Poland video, one of my most popular videos, okay? And how adamant viewers just insist that those Polands are as dependable as your Steels and your Husqvarnas, or Husqvarnas. And I got to tell you guys, they are not, okay? And I will basically attest that till the day I die. Those things are pieces of shit, okay? And I want everybody to know that. Those Polands are complete trash. And I will stand by that decision that I'm saying basically till the day I die. I'm serious. Unless they improve the product, which I seriously doubt Husqvarna is going to do anything to improve the Poland line. So bear that in mind, guys. Without rambling on, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I hope this video has been helpful to the viewers that actually care to want to learn and want to accept, you know, facts rather than opinion. Until the next video, YouTubers.